Hi, 3DMJers. This is Andrea Valdez, and you are listening to the 3D Muscle Journey podcast. In this third episode of one-on-one team interviews, we're featuring Alberto Nunez. Like I said in the previous two episodes, as it's now December 2016, we'd like to close out the year with some State of the Coach addresses. Basically, we're asking the same questions to each person to see where they stand through this annual change, and it's something we plan on doing every year. Moving along with Berto as our third person in the hot seat, we will discuss our lives as athletes and professionals in this industry. We talk about what a typical day looks like for each coach, where they stand in their athletic journey, what their diet and training looks like right now, and if there are any major lessons learned in 2016 along the way. I'll ask Berto about some of his coaching milestones this past year and what other professional endeavors he plans to chase in 2017. We'll then end the interviews on a more personal note, discussing any other resolutions, hobbies, favorite things, and ambitions they have for the year ahead. So, like I said, this will carry on each week with every coach getting their own time in the spotlight. Because we started our podcast with the individual 3DMJ Origins episodes that were so well received, it's really cool to hear how much each one of us has changed individually over just the past few months. And most importantly, these episodes carry a lot of weight for the listeners, and they're really, special to us because they display how incredibly different the five of us are as athletes and as humans. So, we have different routines, we eat differently, we train differently, all while carrying the same core values of discipline, dedication, and desire, which keep us united as a 3DMJ family. So I hope you guys get a lot out of these 5 special year-end episodes. Here is the 2016 Coaches Spotlight episode featuring Alberto Nunez. Hey Bert, your hair looks lovely.
Thank you. And here's another bonus. I learned how to smile the other day. I've always felt like I wasn't very photogenic. I still don't think I am by any means.
You're
However,
beautiful.
No, you have to smile with your whole face.
Yeah, they know when you're faking.
Yeah, and it's especially I'll smile if it's funny, but I guess that's why Helms' smile is the same all the time. It's he does a full face thing,
Yeah. Who taught you
so
this?
I've learned that. It was self-taught. Yeah,
oh, okay.
Yeah, it's why do I look so unpleasant in most pictures?
Yeah, if you just use your mouth, it's not real.
So yeah, it's that Hollywood Britney Spears smile. I don't want to get wrinkles.
Oh yeah. We could just get you some Botox.
That's more socially acceptable now.
Yeah.
I hear.
Okay. I would say what's a typical day like for you? That's what we start with. What's a day like for Alberto Nunez?
Okay.
Do you have normal days?
I like to have normal days.
Okay, what's normal?
That's for sure. Monday through Friday, that's normal. And it's funny because my weekends are normal, but by the time after weekending, right? I want to get back to normal. It's pretty crazy how that works. So
yeah.
I guess that's a good sign, right? Typically, I wake up somewhere around. You've seen this actually.
Yeah.
You've lived with me. I wake up about 30 to 15 minutes before my first Skype. That's how I start my. So that's how I start my day.
I forget how funny it is, and I forgot that I was there. But the first, that 30-minute sprint. Go ahead and tell us what happens during that.
Well, and I felt guilty about this, and then so Ben was here the other day, and he said that it just gets to the point where, especially with coaching, where you've done things long enough where you've just seen everything, and he's sometimes he was going over what he would cut out in his life, and for him it's that because it's just not stimulating enough.
Okay.
And he's you probably do that because it makes it more stimulating for you. You get in there and it's let's do this, because I think otherwise I'll read the application, I'm no you're not, yeah right, yes, you're not doing that no more, that sort so that's how I start. I wake up about 15-30 minutes before my first Skype session. I start off with 2 Skype consultations on most days, and I like it, so I get to basically wake up to people. I think most folks wouldn't be ready for that that quickly upon waking, but that's how I wake up. So so that's what I do.
You're skipping a part.
What do you mean a part?
Where's your walk?
Oh, my walk.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. My walk comes after that, typically.
Yeah, okay. When I was there, it wasn't.
Oh, okay. I was probably...
It was, no, we went to 7-Eleven every morning.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, if you wake up 30 minutes before your
Yeah.
Skype call, that
Yeah.
gives you enough time to walk to the conveniently located 7-Eleven, get yourself some coffee, and make it back on time, hopefully,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, you're like 100 yards, right, from your 7-Eleven?
Exactly.
Yeah.
They know me by name. They actually get Christmas goodies for me every year.
Oh, that's nice.
So yeah, I do my Skype thing, and then like after that, I'm done with human interaction for a minute. So what I'll do is I'll go on a walk,
Oh, a real walk.
have breakfast, yeah, go on an actual walk, clear my mind, kind of organize my thoughts in my head and how I'm going to approach this specific day. Which oddly enough, to a certain extent, revolves around training still a lot. It's like, so, when do I want to get in for this day? Where do I want to go? So we have to sort that out first before I can take care of anyone else. So I do that, come back, and then typically my rule is I will give myself about 4 hours of computer time. And then after that, I, on most days, will consider myself, I'm useless, basically, just because it does drain you, and there's things are pretty dynamic with your week-to-week athletes, typically because you are working with a competitive deadline, and you want to make sure they make it to that deadline. So there's a lot of I wouldn't say adjusting, but there's you don't always adjust, but you want to make sure that that's the right move for the next few days before you let them go on their way. So that's about how that goes. And typically I try to find about scattered within that week, I do tack on anywhere between, I'd say, 60 to 90 minutes of just some sort of creative marination type of just let myself create and it not be so much an assembly line anymore.
Right.
And that can be something from like a program that's been kind of spinning in my head. It's like, you know what, I need to put this on paper, an Instagram post, things of that nature. And sometimes it's in it's at the most inappropriate of times.
Okay.
Yeah. But that's I guess that's my work day until right before training, which to this day is still part of my day that I look most forward to. I think when I am on vacation or away, one of my most exciting parts about vacation is like, hey, I get to train with like less of like other stresses around me for that short period of time.
Yeah.
So yeah, training means a lot to me. I train. It's usually about 2 hours, 3 hours if I'm feeling extra social. And then we kick it in front of the TV with the dogs and Netflix.
Netflix and chill. Word. What time do you like to train at right now? Like 6, 8-ish?
You know, it depends on how much like human interaction I have. I've noticed this. I think if I haven't had much human interaction that day, I'll go during the traffic times, and like I'll be that guy that talks to everyone. Like, I'm gonna fuck up all your sets. You know, that pump, it's gone. I know what I'm doing.
That's how you get that edge.
Yeah, that's how you do it. Yeah, so it depends on that, whether I want to see crowds or not. So today, I didn't want to see crowds because I had to come back home to do this. So I went to like my bro gym, like the scary one, Iron Prodigy.
Oh, that one. Okay.
The one with, the quotes, right? Yeah, that one. I just realized the other day when I walk in, like there's a picture of some chick getting kicked in the face. Like it's an MMA thing.
Oh, I was like, I don't remember that.
But I'm like, that's like, I mean, grandma walks in looking for gym membership. Oh my God.
But grandma doesn't go to that gym. She goes to that Rain Tree gym.
The Rain Tree gym, yeah. So the Rain Tree gym is my social gym.
Such fancy.
And then the other one, they have happy hour, by the way, on Sundays. At
No, they don't.
They do. Wine is cheap on Sundays. And then the Iron Prodigy, like everyone's like, like Kai Green with the red hoodie and just like not talking to no one. So that's where we went today.
Nice.
Yeah.
So currently as an athlete, because I've known you through bodybuilding emphasis, powerlifting emphasis. Season you did both. What are we doing now? What are we most immediately chasing?
Yeah. We're specializing, I think. It got to the point now where powerlifting is nuts. It is crazy. Yeah. It is insane.
They're pretty good.
It's too contrasting for me. Like, if I were to do powerlifting, I just wouldn't do very well at all. Like, there's no way. There's no mathematical way that I could. If you let me compete at 180 pounds with 140-pound guys, like, if you gave me that handicap, I could do okay. But now it's to the point where it's like, you know what, I'm just going to let these people do what they do. That's not what I do. I don't, or at least not that well. And I've kind of consolidated my energies more towards that, which is bodybuilding. So that's where I'm at. I think this is the first year or the first prep where I'm like, you know what, this is what I am. I am just purely a bodybuilder. I plan on having a time slot during the week where I work solely on posing. That's never happened. So it's not just about the process, which I absolutely love, and that's still most of the reason why I do what I do. However, I think I want that cherry on top now, and I want to prove to myself that I can be as good as I know I can.
Word. When did that switch happen?
Ooh, I'd say definitely after seeing Jeff have all the success that he had during his last contest prep season.
Okay. 2014. 2 years?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And then also I think the way my last season went, where I felt that I was babysitting my conditioning, which is also the same season where Jeff, Jeff is all bodybuilder. That's all he did. Mm-hmm. But for me, I was trying to balance both, and I felt that there was times where it's like, dude, you need to make a food cut. You need to make a food cut. You need to hop on that leg press. You need to hop on that leg press because that's the most appropriate thing during this specific leg of your contest prep. But I had that deadline. I wanted to do a powerlifting show and a bodybuilding show basically days apart.
Yeah.
And mission was accomplished. I did that, but I definitely feel that at that show I didn't place nearly as well as I could have. And it wasn't necessarily the prep was also not aiding me in becoming the powerlifter that I could be if I wanted to focus on that.
So slightly diluting both goals.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And now, fast forward, it's 2016, 2 years later, both sports have developed, and there's the more people are getting poured into that sport. When I look at powerlifting, it's grown so much, and the numbers have gotten so high that I can't compete with those guys. But when it comes to bodybuilding, I can see the freakiest of dudes, and I'm like, dude, I can edge you out if you don't do your business.
Yeah.
I can catch it.
Okay.
So they're very, very different perspectives. And I like winning. There's nothing wrong with that. I like to win.
Yeah. Nothing's wrong with that. That's good to hear you say, dude.
Yeah. That's the truth.
It's the truth.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess that kind of goes, because the way this outline here goes, it's what are your goals? And then it's training, nutrition, and mindset. And I think that kind of covered the mindset-ish, as far as how you were power building for a long time. And although you're not a shitty power lifter, it's just you're an elite bodybuilder. And you can be even more. Mm-hmm. So, cool. But on to training, though, when you say I'm specializing right now, to keep it, or to not keep it so global, give me some more specifics about how your training is different now than, say, a year ago.
Okay. I think the biggest difference, because I still have powerlifter friends, and thankfully they still accept me for the choices I've made in my life.
That's so nice of them.
We'll start training, and we get in there and we BS for a minute, and then finally everyone starts to pretend they warmed up properly and they start doing their movements. And I go off and I do my bodybuilder thing. They're over here deadlifting, and they're doing something like 6 sets of 2, 80-ish% or something like that. By the time they're done with their stuff, I'm 200 reps into my training session.
Yeah.
when I was power building, that was kind of the issue, is that you spend so much time on, because it's a skill. Strength is a skill.
Right.
And like when I've felt my strongest, I've felt in a way my weakest, because it's kind of like that trick where you rip a phone book apart, where you like with the pen you fold that thing. It's like that. It's not that dude's really strong. He just kind of knows how to maneuver himself into the proper positions, like, and he practices, right?
Right.
So it just requires so much practice that, you know, those three movements, they're just not enough to make a complete bodybuilder. So I can spend the first hour, you know, deadlifting, or I can actually spend the first hour of my training, you know, working specifically on my lats. And you know, I've done 2 pull down variations, 2 row variations, and it's only 1 hour. You know, it's only 1 hour in. So it's just way more practical, and it's way more specific to what my current needs are. So
which are current needs?
Get as jacked as possible.
No, but what are you, when you run a specialization cycle, what does it emphasize towards? I guess is what I'm asking.
Yeah. So my whole year's been a specialization cycle, which has actually revolved around back training. A lot more rowing and pulling specific movements. So that's been the majority of what I've been working on. And I mean, I'll forever feel like when I hit a back lat spread, it's like a back rib spread, but it's working. It's definitely working.
Yeah.
I've noticed some pretty, at least for this point in time in my lifting career, pretty obvious differences, and the body parts, honestly, that I felt that, you know, via like power building, I was going to perhaps I was going to lose a little pop there. It's actually not been the case, because even my training for my legs or for my pecs, it's been more bodybuilding specific. So I don't regret my time when I was kind of doing both. I might still do that at some point.
Yeah.
But at this point in time, this has been very appropriate, and it's my efforts and my time spent with this approach, I definitely feel, is going to show next time I compete.
Which is when?
2017. But
ooh,
yeah, I would not put it past me to get to the point where it's like, okay, this is a cliff, jump off. I'm like, no, it's still not good yet. It's still not where I want it to be.
Okay.
I love bodybuilding, and
yeah, building, not so much shrinking, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Nutritionally, where are we at right now? Could you give me roundabout calories, macros ish?
So I try to have at least 3 meals a day that have at least 100 grams of carbohydrates.
Okay.
And then I try to have anywhere from 4 to 5 protein feedings. However, my final meal of the day typically tends to be the biggest one, because it's post-training, and that's when my appetite is most elevated. So that meal can get decently outrageous at times. And by outrageous, like nothing horrible. It's just like, you know, I'll eat a whole chicken, which I guess can be kind of outrageous.
B does that.
My mom would worry if she saw that. So I guess within the realm of our culture, our peeps, that's like, oh, that's cool. He's fine. But, you know, yeah, if mom saw me eating a whole chicken with, like, I don't know, like those pizza popper things, she'd be like, you need an intervention, son. So that's.
Is it those rotisserie ones that you get with the handle?
Yes.
Oh, they're so good.
Yeah, they're super good, and I get to share them with my dogs, which is probably why it's
nice.
my go-to. Yeah. So that's how I do it now. 4 to 5 protein feedings a day, 3 meals at about I'd say 100 grams of carbohydrates. It tends to be a bit more than that, but at least. And then when it comes to my dietary fat, I just don't look for dietary fat throughout the whole day, up until I get to my last meal of the day, where I'll have a little bit more dietary fat, and it'll end up in a pretty reasonable place just naturally that way. So there's a system in place, although I like saving the meticulous counting at that point in time. It's exciting if you do it that way. It's like, oh, I haven't done this However, you find out that your breakfast was like 40 grams of fat, and you're like, "Ooh, like how did that happen?" Right? No wonder, right?
Just to clarify, when you're like, okay, 3 meals, 4 fat protein feedings, is that like shakes in between? Is that what's happening?
A lot of shakes, definitely. Okay. Just because I can pound away at those. Oh, I got so many shaker cups here. They will be cleaned.
You gotta throw that away. So, after like 48 hours, you gotta throw it away. It's not coming back.
It'll never be the same. It's like a vase that falls down and you glue it. Never be the same. Yeah.
Okay, I'm trying to think if I could even help the audience like ballpark the calories, but I just...
Oh, they're
like
definitely
27, 28. We that high?
Calories anywhere between 35 to 4,000.
Oh my god. Okay. Yeah. See, but that doesn't mathematically make sense with what you just said.
Yeah, no, it doesn't. But my last meal is pretty epic.
Okay. So when you say like 100 carbs per meal, I was like, so 350, 400. I wasn't thinking like, oh.
See, but
you know
when I think of what my idea is so skewed right now, but I know it's better for me to not count because sometimes I look at the numbers and I'm like, it doesn't make sense. Like for example, breakfast today was two of these steamer bags of like children's pasta. It's like Star Wars.
Yeah. Do you pick the characters on purpose?
No,
do you have choices?
It's really tasty. It's really tasty. Okay. But people will open my fridge and they think I'm a fan. It's like, no, dude. I had friends in high school. I don't want to offend any of the Trekkies. But so, for example, each bag was 40 grams of carbs, and then I had 2 kiwis, and then I had a banana, and then like I felt that like it was kind of bland, so I added barbecue sauce to it.
What?
So it's like all these
time out
to the pasta.
Yeah. Oh, I thought you put barbecue sauce on your banana.
No.
Oh my god! I was like, "What kind of crazy shit is?" Okay, and I was about to turn to your mom and get worried. Okay, so that's more like pushing 200.
It ends up being a little bit more. Like I always think my breakfast is what it is, and then I track and I'm like, "Ooh, peanut butter and oats. That stuff adds up." And I think a lot of the listeners will be able to hear them be like, "Yeah, I remember kind of eating bro foods and like." You think you're kind of tracking in your head, and then you see it on your phone, and you're like, that's very objective. That's not what I...
Yeah. Okay. But all your shit's basically minimums, because if you're not thinking, you'll lose weight, correct? If you're not paying some type of attention.
It's just, I think it's good for me to follow my intuitive appetite, which tends to fluctuate from day to day, and it puts me in the right spot anyways. I tend to overeat just the right amount. But when I do track it, it almost always ends up being at least 3,500 calories.
Cool. Training, nutrition, brains, your bodybuilding. Okay. 2017. When do you decide that officially? When you're like, I want to say 2017, but when it gets to that line, then I got to stop. And I realize I still want to keep cooking in my off-season oven.
I think it depends on how it's so confusing because it depends on how fruitful this last leg of the off season is.
Okay.
So if I have a ton of momentum going and I'm like, wow, I've never hit these weights before. Everything's just like clockwork. I'm in complete control of what's happening right now. I would kind of hate to just cut that off and start a prep. And so that's one of the reasons why it might be the gains might be so good that I might keep going. But then also there is the other part where I'm just like I look at myself in the mirror and I'm honest with myself and it's like this area just hasn't come up the way you hoped. It would be in your best interest to just keep going a little bit longer. Very contradicting, but I've actually when I think back to my last prep, I thought Jeff Alberts was retiring. Like that dude told me he was retiring.
Oh yeah, he does that.
Yeah, and I'm like. Shoot, I can't be a jackass. Like I was having the best off season up until that point. I thought I could have. I had never just the weights I was moving. Never, like head to toe, had I ever been that strong and that productive. And I'm like, I can't be a jackass either because what if he is retiring? He didn't retire, obviously.
Yeah.
So this time I'm not gonna believe Jeff, even if he tells me this might be the last one, man. He's like Brett Favre of like bodybuilding.
Steve, please make that a quote. that Jeff is the Brett Favre of bodybuilding. That's a good one.
We'll find some use for that.
It's okay.
One.
Last episode, Eric said that I was the Ricky Bobby of bodybuilding because if you're not first, you're last.
I heard of that. Yeah, that was awesome. That was awesome.
Oh my god, I love our quote cards. That's basically the only reason I talk, so we can make fun Instagram posts. Okay, so as a coach, are we done? Anything like as an athlete that you're like, this year I did this and it's really moved the needle for me?
I would just say that the biggest thing is just, again, like I think a lot of people can understand that maybe growing up they were multi-sport athletes. They did soccer, they did baseball, and then at a certain point, it's like, let's like pick the one you're best at and like focus specifically on that one. And even as closely related as bodybuilding and powerlifting truly are.
Can be.
Yeah. It's the closest thing to what a bodybuilder does in some ways.
Yeah.
Like,
well, and I think it's different too when they're not trying to win pro shows. Like it's get on stage versus I want to win a pro show. There's just really different goals, in my opinion. That Yeah. Anyways, okay, cool. Coaching lessons this year. Oh, what happened? Did I cut out? Am I here?
No. It's still going for some reason. It's giving me all these like signals like the world's over, but no, we're good.
Oh, good. It's not over.
I'm clear.
Yeah, coaching. How? What are some things that you've really, either tactically, some moves you made with your athletes that you're doing different this year? Some strategies you've implemented. Different approaches you've taken that have really kind of come alive this year with your athletes?
Let's see. I'd say, I've worked with more bikini gals than ever before.
Hey, okay.
Yeah, we're going to start a subgroup called Bros Angels.
Oh my God. I need Brandon to make a graphic for that too. We can do it. With Lorena Macarena in the center.
I will wear a purple suit to your show.
Oh, I love it.
So I think both those divisions, they tend to bring people who perhaps have a little bit less experience when it comes to what they do in the weight room.
Right.
And I think in the past, I've been like, you know what, we'll kind of ease you into what I think is right. And within reason, I think one thing I've done is like, no, we're going to learn to lift and we're going to just like learn to be an educated lifter, basically. And your time like spent with me is going to give you more than just like the look you want on stage. You're going to be able like to forever like decipher things and be a critical thinker and fend for yourself in like this like fitness world, which again like it just swallows up newer people all the time, right? So that's one big thing is everyone learns to lift, and even my more veteran type bodybuilders, it's like, hey, dude, you've been doing this for a decade, you haven't really ever hurt yourself, you've got a really good physique at this point. In the past, I would have been like, you know what, it's okay if you want to do your own thing when it comes to training, I'll take care of the nutrition. But now it's gone to the point where I've had so many athletes that thought they were not necessarily out of progress, but they didn't think they could progress the way we have when they've let me take over their training. So I think the biggest part is having the lifting have a bigger educational component to it. Cool. And forever changing the way they look at their training. They're no longer training. They're no longer working out. You're training now. And you need to have that attitude when you step into the gym.
Awesome. What else?
I'd say the diet breaks. We schedule them now. Okay. That is a big one. In the past, the diet break was almost seen as because often we pull that card at a time where the prepper is most anxious. They're maybe stuck and things aren't moving the way we want them to move, and they feel as if they're a bit behind. And so to kind of throw that card at them, it's like, whoa, out of all the things I thought you were going to do, that's what you tell me to do? Mm-hmm. It's unexpected, and it's quite stressing, I'd imagine.
Right.
So now what we do is like, here's your contest prep. These are scheduled diet breaks. And I think it makes it a lot easier to accept, this was scheduled, regardless of where we're at. This is this was part of the plan initially. So it's not like I did anything wrong. My prep is not broken. Everything is still okay. So yeah, just I guess scheduling a lot of things, not just that. Like I'll schedule where your weight should be in what ranges. Like I think that makes it so that there's a little bit less unknown for the less experienced competitor. So so yeah, mapping out a diet, kind of like we do with our training, is something that I've grown more fond of this year.
Cool. Anything else?
Let's see.
If you're done, you can totally be done. I just want to make sure we finish it. Things you do different. Anything like logistically, how you handle athletes, your workflow, your there was a good minute there. Well, no, I was going to say there's a good minute there you were doing a lot of audio replies, but you've gone back to videos more now.
I still do audio replies.
Okay. Yeah, I do some if I'm like in a pinch, but
depends on the message. I save the video replies for like exercise tutorials, so I can like lay on the ground and do whatever it is that I need to do.
Right.
This is how you do a sit-up, things like that.
Do you do sit-up tutorials? I've missed those. I haven't seen those yet. Okay.
It's gonna be up on the channel soon. No one will watch that video. So yeah, the audio replies I like. It surprises a lot of athletes when they get an audio reply. And I've actually, I encourage and almost insist that my people don't write emails. Like, I want to hear you, I want to see you, because I can, just by looking at people, you can kind of project where they're at, and they can be like, Coach, everything's fine, and I'm having a good time. I'm not even hungry. And it's like, dude, you are like miserable. Like, like if there was a ×3 button on YouTube, I would press it so you'd sound like an actual normal person. Yeah. Which, for those of you guys that don't know, there's a hack if you're like working with contest preppers. If you want them to speak at a normal speed, you double up the speed and they sound almost human. But
I didn't know that.
I think
until I started working with y'all. Until I started working with y'all, I didn't know there was a ×2 speed on how to watch YouTube videos. He said.
They put that on a card.
I was going to emphasize that. There's going to be M's across the thing. One H in the middle. All right. I think that, yeah, that's funny. That's what Eric said too, and I think what Brad said, like the diet breaks being a really, or not necessarily diet breaks or multi-day refeeds, but just not having like the 1 day a week all across a prep kind of thing, which I think is how everyone kind of started back in the day. Okay, cool. Yeah. Outside of coaching, professional goals, do you have any besides, what else? You're Insta famous, so that's cool. I'm trying to think, what else do you do outside of coaching professionally? That sounded weird. Did I cut out?
No, you didn't cut out.
The question is, what are your professional goals outside of coaching?
Not you just like, made me realize I have nothing going.
Not like what's your night gig or like G4P stuff. Yeah. I'm just saying like what are...
You just said G4P on this podcast, and I said it again. Let's see.
I know collectively we have some, but does Bert have anything? Oh, you almost did for a minute last year too.
I thought are we talking about G4P still?
We're talking about PB.
I'm like, Bradley? Really? No, Brad would never. That Jeff guy though. What are you retiring? What are you going to do, Jeff? Right? Okay.
You still got all those Speedos left?
Let's see. So what am I doing in regards to projects outside of...
outside of coaching and training.
Okay.
Do you do anything else? You watch football?
I used to. I'm done with that.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think I'd rather do something else with my weekends.
Okay.
So as of right now, I think one thing I've kind of committed to doing a bit more next year is actually a little bit more traveling.
Oh.
I want to travel, spread the word in a slightly different way, and be more useful when it comes to that. So there's quite a few places that are kind of, can't say all of them, but there's a few things that are in the works for next year. So Just I want to do a little bit more of that because
that was
often
super vague. What is that?
traveling, speaking, like,
oh, speaking. Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and the way I see it is that, hey, I want to travel. So this kind of opens that up a little bit.
Right.
So as you know, we were going over the Pacific at some point. I don't even know if we're allowed to say.
I think we are. We're
Potentially.
going to Australia next year. We'll talk about it some other time.
Mm-hmm.
Like we'll elaborate on that, listeners. But we're doing another thing.
Mm-hmm. That, and then I might do something in Singapore at some point.
Cool.
And then just like little areas here and there, places that I want to go to, basically. So I want to travel a bit more, for sure.
Okay.
That's something that I hate it a little bit when I'm there because I'm so about my routine, like I said. But once I do it, I'm like, wow, that was totally worth it, and I learned something new that I could not have learned here at home.
Yeah, you're our social butterfly. You're good at it.
I don't feel that way.
Do you really? Well, I guess Helms travels all the time, too.
He does. He's a little bit more better suited for that, I think, than I am.
Well, it's just different. Like, he's getting his PhD. That's like a different...
There you go.
That's the academic... Anyways.
Yeah, but the thing is, I like home, I think, a little bit more than he does. But sometimes I need to be pulled away from home a little bit more. Yeah. So traveling is something I want to do a little bit more of.
Okay.
I might as well. But I love hanging around here with my friends. That's probably my biggest hobby outside of training, is just all my friends around here. When I first got here, it was just my buddy Brian Miner. He's like, hey, you should move to this place called Fort Collins, Colorado. It's like very tiny. There's not much going on here other than like good food and good beer. I'm like, dude, let's do it.
He says, I like those things.
Those are all up my alley. And now, we're growing quite a little, like, this little communities, like, it's like taking off. Actually, I couldn't make it to the meeting because I'm here. I don't think I was invited, though, because I don't think I'm a powerlifter. But we're going to start this, I shouldn't say that. They, the other guys, the powerlifters that let me hang out with them, they're starting this powerlifting club at the college.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so that's probably been one of the most, it's been a very, how would I say this? It's been great to watch a community flourish here locally, because that was the one thing we kind of had in Sacramento. I remember, you can go to the gym, throw your bag, and you have someone to train with. And that just wasn't the case here, and I think we're kind of changing that. So I think maybe that's what I'll do over the long term. I'll just like leave little patches of people, like little tribes everywhere. And they all lift weights. They're happy and they help each other out.
SAC was cool, like 2013, 2014 SAC.
It was.
2012 before I got there. I'm sure it started, but
people would go to the gym to see if they could catch us working out. That was like yeah.
People would travel the world to the gym.
Yep.
We had
go
some people
to the gym.
Yeah. It was
Poor
actually
owner
called.
CJ.
I know. For listeners, it was actually called The Gym. Was like the business name. We're not just saying like any gym.
Yeah, the gym.
And we know the difference. Yeah, because you don't say you're going to the gym. I'm going to the gym today.
Mm-hmm.
And we knew what we were talking about.
I'm going to the gym. Big emphasis.
On the,
Yeah, so I think friends, my dogs, that's probably like the thing I do the most when it comes. I don't have a family yet. I'm not
What?
Like Jeff or Brad. I don't have a family yet.
Oh, that way.
Like I haven't done.
Okay, I was like,
no. Like, don't tell people about my kids or the ones who claim to be my kids.
That's not what I meant. I thought you were like saying I don't have a family to see. I was like, what are you talking about? You have like moms and siblings and okay, moms. I just
moms. Moms.
There's just one.
I was gonna say something very
Me
inappropriate.
too.
We're gonna get all kinds of hate mails.
For paid. We can't.
No.
What I have here? What are you addicted to lately? And I don't mean that in a bad way. But what are your things right now? What do you like, dude? This food, this game, this. What do you got right now? I'm trying to think of me as your homie if I know any of these things. 7-Eleven coffee. That's just your thing. It's so. The 7-Eleven, you're like Jay and Silent Bob. Like.
Yeah. Oh, that's horrible. I'm done.
No, you have your 7-Eleven. Obviously, you have the girlfriend, Miss Leanna there. Your powerlifter friends. Children's foods.
Children's foods. Ooh, here's one that's kind of different. I don't know how this is gonna fly, but I experimented with cigars when I was in the Dominican Republic.
Oh, okay.
And like legit, and someone took me through the whole process, and I really like cigars. So I think I will have a cigar once a week.
Once a week. Okay. I saw that on your Snapchat.
Yeah. They're very pleasant, and it's more of a... It's funny, because it's like men have a hard time talking, so it's kind of like barbershops. Yeah.
Okay.
Like men go to barbershops to talk shit, basically.
Is that what happens?
Yeah. That's usually what happens. It's like they just sit there. Everyone knows everything.
Like in Coming to America, like that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
So it's kind of the same thing when it comes to cigars. It's like more of one of those things where you get your buddies. The average cigar lasts about an hour or so.
Jeez.
So the whole time you're just kind of there. The whole Hank Hill. Yep. But we're not getting horribly intoxicated. So that's one that I definitely just recently I'm like, wow, this is good. Not good, but it's good. So I like cigars. I appreciate the art of cigars. That, and I think next year I want to be all about my hiking again. That's the cardio I'm going to do.
All right. That's the place to do it. Because you've never prepped there.
No,
in
never
Colorado.
prepped there.
Okay.
And I've decided that this next prep I want to do some cardio, just to kind of expedite the process a little bit. I'm not babysitting powerlifting, so I can do a little bit of cardio.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have to train as much, it seems like. And yeah, I think every weekend of what I'm going to do right now that's snowy and you can't go outside,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to map out all these hikes that I want to do this next year, and basically every weekend go and do that. That's something that I'm very passionate about, is just kind of getting out there and reconnecting with a side of you that is humans, domesticated humans, we kind of forget about.
Mm-hmm.
But then once you're kind of out there and like what is actually like your true element, you remember a few things that you might have forgotten along the way, and like this whole like craziness that is this, I guess it's this pen for human cattle that we live in.
Yeah.
Too philosophical. I swear I did.
No, I
swear
got
I'm
you.
not on. Yeah, it's just I don't want the listeners to think I'm on the Colorado train right now.
Yeah, the Colorado crazies.
Yeah,
I got you.
Yeah, so yeah, no, just like going out every weekend and just kind of unplugging, which I think now more than ever is important, is probably one of my favorite things to do.
It's
just to not
always
see a
been.
human for like hours. Yeah.
It's always been like that. That shit scares me, to be honest.
What?
I can
the
go
bears, or?
like no, like what do we do, the horse tooth?
Mhm.
That's about as maybe that times 1.5 is about as far as I get where I'm like, okay, and we can go back now. But if you
Yeah.
get like way in there, like what you and Abdullah did,
Yeah.
I'm not doing that. Like when it gets dangerous, like if I fall.
Oh, that was stupid. That was
Yeah.
totally stupid. Yeah, I just like not seeing people and seeing trees. That's
Okay.
Yeah. So yours was actually quite strenuous. Give yourself some credit.
Oh, was
but
it?
it was kind of,
Alright.
but it was kind of like the Times Square of hikes around here, where there was just too many people.
Okay.
Like I want to feel like the last person on this planet.
That's
for a minute.
scary. If my phone works, it's not that scary. I have this weird fear that like if something happens and no one's around me, and then 5 weeks later, like there's this corpse, and like oops, that
You
shit
tell
scares
people
me.
where you're going.
Yeah.
That's your spot. Your
Like,
distance. Your spot from distance.
Yeah, like when my dad goes to the ranch down in like Hebronville, like South Texas and stuff, and I'm like, Dad, and he like sends me videos, and there's like little deers passing by him, and like armadillos, and like a cow, and like coyotes, and I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, it's whatever.
That's what I
that
like
scares
to
me. There you go. You can go with my dad. He'll be happy to have you. What are you most proud of in 2016? This better be a great hit.
Whoa.
I know, because we're on the last 2 or 3 questions that are like we're going there. What's something that you've done in the last year that you're like, all right?
I've gotten better at personal reflection, and just so this is something that I can't even quantify to people, but there's just parts about ourselves that we don't like to go into. Like you kind of go into for a minute, and you're like, it's like it feels like someone doing that to your belly button, right? Right? It's like, that's what it feels like, and I've gone over that and just kind of learned to dig a little bit more, and it's been a year of a lot of turbulence in some ways, but it's all worth it at the end. It's kind of it's what happens when I hang out with Escrow. We're talking about
he does that.
Like when you're training, you're basically you're fatigued, you're overwhelmed, then you super compensate and you come out stronger. Life has its little moments like that, It's like, holy shit, I'm bankrupt, right? And then you sort your shit out, and hopefully you come out better after that. You don't repeat that again. But we all have those little moments here and there, and I think now more than ever, I've learned to enjoy them and learn through them.
Okay.
And then a lot of the stuff that perhaps I put in little shoe boxes in my closet, I've slowly been going through those this year. So it's been a very selfish year in that way.
Good selfish though.
Something that I'm glad I addressed. Yeah. It was long overdue, and I think very soon here. I think as a person and in my career and everything else I do, it will start to show. But it was definitely a year to kind of recharge and sort some things out.
Okay.
Yeah.
What this actually is the last question, so take as long as you want. What do you look forward to in 2017? Not on all the levels, because your last one was vague, but I'm not gonna make you go there. But in this one, on all the levels, what do you actually look forward to doing?
If we were smoking cigars, right now, I probably would have gone there, because that's what we do. And men can't talk unless they have some avenue. But
you just called me a man. It's okay.
One of the dudes.
I'm one of the dudes. I know.
No pink shirt on you. Unless you want one really bad. Then
Nah, I'm good.
we can bedazzle all your gym accessories.
Stop it. I'm wearing it. Too many inside jokes in this one.
Yeah.
No, the guys of 3DMJ like to make fun of the fact that I hate being the girl of 3DMJ.
Yeah, that's so unfair.
I'm dude number 5. You have Lorena, I should have a dude alter ego. We'll come up with one.
Yeah.
Andy. We'll have fun with that some other time. Next meeting that'll have to be decided. But anyways, what do you look forward to this year, Bert?
Okay. I'm ready to be. I mean, if all signs show that I should prep and move forward with it, I'm very excited for this contest prep. I don't think I've been this hungry to do well since my first season that I did well, which was I did really well because I did really shitty the season before. So I was like, I don't know, forget I did that. Let me do this again.
Yeah, 09?
It was 07 was my shit season, and then 2008 it's we're gonna empty out the tank on this thing. And I think, I wanna empty out the tank for a number of different reasons. I think firstly to prove to myself that I can be that good. To all the people who have supported me, who have supported the team over the last few years, I want them to be I knew that dude had it in him, and I want to make people proud. And then finally, I think even a very small bit. This is probably the smallest fraction. I want to all the naysayers, and I think specifically because I belong to a few clubs that, especially within the trenches, aren't necessarily looked at so positively sometimes.
Explain that.
Just for example, like the poster boy for if it fits your macros. I think there was a point in time where oh, it doesn't work. Check this out, dude. Look at that. He's
look at that one picture. That's
veins
the neck
in his nipples
down
and stuff, right? Yeah,
yeah.
So I guess if you will, just this this new generation of fitness, I think that, I guess, like to me, like the fitness renaissance, if there is such a thing, is kind of happening now.
Okay.
Where like guys, like, no offense to like Brad Schoenfeld, but it's like, dude, it's like you're like, but like that's one dude that I want to listen. I would pay to listen to that guy talk, but like, sorry Phil, but I don't think I'd pay to hear Phil Heath talk. So that's completely like a 180, and I feel that to a certain extent, I'm that unique individual where it's like, dude, your genetics are just good enough where you can leave a dent at that level, and then like to kind of fortify you are equipped with a lot of the things that we at this point think work best.
Right. So you think that you can merge, like, there's a lot of people that might have the smarts and that should be listened to, but maybe don't have that, like, top-level physique. Or like you said, Brad, or like a Lau McDonald or whatever, right? Like, everyone listens to him, but and you are one of those few that you think you doing well and you looking awesome and walking the walk while having some type of knowledge and good messages to spread. I think that's a great goal.
Yeah. Kind of like I can talk to both groups, kind of.
Right.
Whereas like the in the trenches guy that does like widowmakers on the squats, that he can like look at me train in the gym and he's like, that dude goes hard, and then when he talks to me about how I kill it, what my approach is to killing it, it's like, well, this is how I do things. Like every set and rep is kind of planned, and this is my structure. And he's like, these science guys, they got it down. I think they're doing okay for themselves. There might be something there.
Right.
So you have to kind of just merging things together. Because again, like you can have all the knowledge in the world and you could be right, but unfortunately, this is still an industry where it's like it's very bottom line. You need a catchy billboard, and I hope to be that billboard for all the good reasons, I guess.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
What else? I'm gonna keep picking at you. That's not a very great goal and something very admirable, and I look forward to you continuing to do that because I feel like you already do that on a lot of levels. But go ahead, you were gonna say something.
So, athlete, I guess that's it. And I think I said that first because that's what I think a lot of the people who are tuning in want to hear. Secondly, I think kind of going back to the topic before. Kind of opening up certain aspects of myself and like saying shit that I don't necessarily like and wanting to address those personal matters. Very vague, but I think I will be a better person next year. I'll be a better person to my athletes. I will be a better person to my loved ones, to you guys. And it was just a big reconstruction year, and it wasn't just physique. It was a lot of things. And I don't mean that in a negative way. Like I didn't go buy a Corvette or anything. It's just
what's
one
wrong
of those...
with buying Corvettes, Bert? Don't offend our Corvette drivers.
Fuck. Okay.
I know, I'm just kidding.
The moms and the Corvette, the moms and the Corvette drivers. Sorry, they're both fine.
I know.
I think it's been a reflective year, and I think honestly that's probably one of the reasons that I moved out here to Colorado, to just kind of get away from the noise and go sit at the top of a mountain and kind of reflect and realize that, dude, you still have a good chunk of your life. Like, what do you want to do?
Yeah.
Because, I think 30 for me, it wasn't like, dude, I'm 30, like, holy shit, like, I'm old. I think the biggest thing is just like, you're going to die.
Yeah.
That was the biggest thing that it hit me with. Never in my life did I necessarily feel like, Bert, you're going to die at some point.
Yeah.
And I'm not necessarily into the whole like leaving a legacy. I could care less about that, but more so I want to make sure that I did everything I wanted to. Because we've all had it where maybe there was a day or a week where you look back and you're like, man, I so misused that time. This week was complete shit. Like, let me get this together. Like, imagine like being on your deathbed and like having like a macro level of that. Like, just damn, if I could go back. Well, you can't. So I think 30 was, I'm 33 now, I think I'm 33.
You are.
People keep confusing me with that. So
because you're 33.
33. So that's what turning 30 and now in my mid 30s I've come to realize, and I want to, I want to grow and do everything that I think is right with my life.
Okay.
The most vague man ever.
I know. I want to ask questions, but I don't want to be the asshole that makes you like say things that you don't want to say on the internet, you know?
I think a lot of people will hear this and they will understand that, yeah, we all put things in little boxes and we put them away. And it can be a lot of things. Like, it doesn't have to be shit that, like, let me try to cover one that's like very simple and kind of gets to what I'm vaguely trying to convey here. I think a big part of me, for example, I'm a big people pleaser. I've learned to shut that. That's a huge one. And I think you said, so I'm assuming you agree with that. Yeah. That's one thing that I am just severely working on, and being able to almost right away in any relationship or any interaction that I have with someone, or whether it be business or what have you, or even like right then there in the expos, I kind of like right away set up certain boundaries and expectations that I need, you know.
Yeah.
I think we've all done it backwards, and that never works out very well. So yeah, I've been better about being a people pleaser. So just little things, some things bigger than others, but I think once you're past your adult adolescence, that's something that takes place.
Okay.
Naturally.
Very cool. I'm done with you, man. Any big words for the year? Big words. Big messages to leave with as we are finishing. And we won't do this again until a year from now.
Yeah.
No pressure.
No pressure. I'm at a loss for words. However,
okay.
I guess we'll keep it simple, and we'll stick to the bodybuilding, because that's probably the easiest thing to talk about with all these strangers that are tuning in. I definitely I've committed to contest prep next year to just work really, really, really hard to, again, just bring the best package I've ever brought. So me and Leanne laugh about it, and it's like, I want you to have to roll me into my shows in a wheelchair. Yeah.
What? Hold on. Why would that be a good thing to roll?
Because I'm so lean that I'm useless.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You can only pose.
Yeah. I'm just like this. All my hair is white. I'm like Professor Xavier. Yeah.
He doesn't have hair, crazy.
Oh, okay. Because it's all gray. Got too shredded once upon a time. Okay. Yeah. So I look I'm hungry to be an athlete again. That's probably the biggest thing. I think that's why I think it's so important to have your own ambitions, like yourself as a coach.
Thanks.
And I feel that every time that I've spent a certain amount of time away from the stage, I think that I can still really, really, really relate to these people. But then once I start a prep, I'm like, oh man, this is a huge refresher on how it's like. I'm specifically going to use the stuff that I've endured this week personally as an athlete, and be better able to help this person in this instant. So I look forward to that. I look forward to just being of better use to people come next year.
Cool.
This goes for not just clients, but everything else. Anyhow, that's all I have. I'm off the hot seat.
Okay. It's perfect. Your seat's cold. Talk to you next time. See ya. Tell me something.
That's it. Peace.
Okay. See ya.
Go do your cardio, eat your protein. Do what you got to do. Hug your kids. Hug your dog.
What does he say? I can't. Abdullah, we love you. We're going to end with that. See ya.